There were quite a few good moments from President Trump's speech last night, and this was most certainly one of them. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about President Trump's State of the Union address. That was not technically the State of the Union address. Before I get into anything, I just got to address that elephant in the room. Now, the first year of a new term, in that speech, which is normally the State of the Union address, they don't call it that. They call it a speech before a joint session of Congress. And the second, third, and fourth year of a term, whether it be the first or the second, it would be the State of the Union address, if that makes sense. But for this video, I'm going to call it what it pretty much is, the State of the Union address. Now, this was a really good speech. It was long. It was beyond 90 minutes. They said this was the longest State of the Union, quote unquote, speech ever at over 90 minutes. It started right around 9:20 p.m. Eastern and ended at 11 p.m. Eastern. So that was quite a long time, and it didn't drag on. Trump made quite a few good points. He brought in a lot of good people. He brought in the family of Lake and Riley. He brought in some of the young ladies who had been affected by men and women's sports. The best moment was the little boy, the police officer who was an honorary Secret Service agent. That was an amazing moment. We're going to get to all those things in a minute. But first, I want to show you what these Democrats were doing. Now, one thing they did was dress in all pink. The female House Democrats put on pink for some kind of show of solidarity, some kind of protest. I'm not really sure. They looked like big pep talks out there. Okay, they sure did. Now, they also had these little signs. Now, I don't know what rocket scientists said that was going to be a good idea to have these little bingo signs. You can see what it says. Musk steals, protect veterans, save Medicaid. It was really, really cringe. Okay. And it just kind of shows how old they are. Okay. If you're 80 years old going to play bingo, that's fine. But if you're trying to appeal to the younger generation, maybe this ain't the way to go about it. Even MS-13 DNC said it was cringe. Watch this.
Yeah, but how they gonna snatch your back, Michael, when they holding up bingo or auction signs? I was gonna say, thank you, Simone. Can we talk about it? The bingo signs were killing me. I don't know who thought up the bingo signs, but they should be fired.
Michael, this is an indictment, in my opinion, on the Democratic leadership.
Even your stone cold stomp down leftists, big time Trump haters on MS-13 DNC said that whole thing with the bingo cards, auction cards was corny. But let's keep on going here. Al Green, the House rep from Texas, with his silk press and pimp cane, got kicked out. And of course, that was on purpose as well. Let's watch.
Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant at Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
So he got kicked out, which was a whole big plan. It was obvious because he did that right at the very beginning. It was clear. Like, all of what they do is so calculated and obvious. There's nothing ever that's not scripted. They're all just pretty much automatons. Hey, here's your program and do that, and you'll be rewarded handsomely for your efforts. That's pretty much how it goes. Now, we got Nancy Pelosi right here. I don't know what was going on with her. Maybe the dentures were not denturing. Maybe the polydent, the polygrip or whatever was not really adhesing the way it was supposed to. But she looked a complete mess out there, slobbing and everything else. You know, again, term limits. How old are you right there in your seat? 1,000 years old, Methuselah years old. It's crazy. Now, here's something else. A Democrat, I'm not sure who this was, had a sign that says, "This is not normal." You see, this is not normal. Okay. And you know what? Maybe it's not normal, and that's fine, because at the end of the day, I don't want the status quo. I don't want things to go as they normally do. And shout out to the House rep right there for snatching the sign. I think that was Lance Gooden. So shout out to Lance Gooden. Here we got my main man, JD, and the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, speaking before the event.
By the way, I think the speech is going to be great, but I don't know how you do this for 90 minutes.
The hardest thing was doing it during Biden, when the speech was a stupid campaign speech.
By the way, I think.
All right, so there we go. Shout out to Vice President J.D. Vance, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. Let's keep on going. We're going to get into a few things that he said during the speech.
It's very simple. And the days of rule by unelected bureaucrats are over.
The faces, like, this was pretty much Democrats throughout the entire thing. My thing is, look, if you're going to do all that, why even come to the thing? And there were some people talking about, oh, everybody should have walked out when Al Green got kicked out. If you're going to do that, what's the point in coming to the event at all? Just stay at the house. Just do it that way, rather than making the scene and trying to draw attention to yourself, which is something that is also, of course, premeditated, as what they all do is.
$40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants.
Now, here, of course, is where he's listing off things that Doge has found, that Doge has uncovered, a lot of the grift that goes on in Washington, D.C. A lot of these things, this U.S. aid money is just grift.
Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+. In the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of.
Lesotho is basically surrounded by South Africa.
$60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender. This is real.
Now, they had a fact check. They said that the mice, it was transgenic, not transgender. And I think it was like some kind of gain of function research type situation. Y'all fact check me on that. But yeah, at the end of the day, it could be transformer, transgenic, transgender, transnational, transhuman. At the end of the day, why are we spending so much money on this stuff? Okay, it's a grift. Now, here is Elisa Slotkin. I'm kind of skipping ahead a little bit, but she kind of responded to what Trump was saying as far as the Doge situation, all right?
While we're on the subject of Elon Musk, is there anyone in America who is comfortable with him and his gang of 20-year-olds using their own computer servers to poke through your tax returns, your health information, and your bank accounts? No oversight, no protections against cyber attack, no guardrails on what they do with your private data. We need a more efficient government. You want to cut waste? I'll help you do it. But change doesn't need to be chaotic.
All right. So, yeah. And her response, by the way, we're going to get back to the actual speech, but her response, it was okay. She was a little bit dry in the beginning. I was trying to give her a little bit of coconut water during the stream. And shout out to you guys who were there in the stream. I appreciate y'all for joining. It was an amazing time. I think we had like 7,000 concurrent, peak concurrent. That was amazing. Shout out to you guys for being there. But her accent, kind of like Bobby's mom from Bobby's World. Oh, don't you know? Like school marm. It was kind of, but she didn't do that bad. Although, of course, I did not agree with what she was saying. Let's keep on going.
The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
That's all facts, big facts. And you see the division. The Democrats did not stand. They didn't clap. They didn't do anything. They're pretty much seething. What it did do some things. They were disruptive, walked out, got kicked out, holding up bingo cards, auction signs, dry erase boards, like they're trying to teach little children. Okay? That's what they did rather than clap for things that should have been clapped for. Anyway, let's keep on going. So this is the family of Corey Comparatore. Remember, when Trump got shot in Butler, Pennsylvania, someone else, well, others, not just one other person, but others were shot as well. Corey Comparatore was one of them, and unfortunately, he did not survive. May he rest in peace. Prayers out to his family, which is right there. That's his two daughters and his not his ex-wife, his widow.
Corey was taken from us much too soon, but his destiny was to leave us all with a shining example of the selfless devotion of a true American patriot. It was love like Corey's that built our country, and it's love like Corey's that is going to make our country more majestic than ever before. I believe that my life was saved that day in Butler for a very good reason. I was saved by God to make America great again. I believe that.
And I believe that too, because I still think about that. The bullet was pretty much right between his eyes. He shifts a little bit, just a little bit, and it hit his ear, and he survives. If he doesn't shift, we're not here right now. We're in a whole different world right now, if not for that shift. Now, this moment right here was the moment. Now, when I first saw the little boy right here, I didn't know who it was, because when they were walking out, he was right there next to where everybody was walking out. Melania, Trump, everybody, he was right there. I'm like, is that a police officer? What's going on? I didn't know what was happening. But what's happening here is this is a 13-year-old boy who has brain cancer, and he's had multiple surgeries on his brain. They gave him just a few months to live years ago, and here he is today. So shout out to the young boy. Let's play this part right here where he became an honorary Secret Service agent.
Thank you, DJ.
So yeah, that's his dad right there, of course, holding him up. And that's him holding his badge. But the hug right here, that was precious. Now, the majority of Americans approved of President Trump's speech. Let's check this out.
To the results. What was your reaction to Trump's speech? 44% of speech watchers in our instant poll tonight say they had a very positive reaction to Trump's speech. 25% somewhat positive, 31% negative.
So there we go. That's the majority. Only 31% negative. Not bad. But as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to President Trump. Shout out to everybody who was there, all the special guests, everybody. It was a great speech. Probably one of the best ever. Again, the longest ever, beating all records. That's pretty good for a guy who's 78 years old. He's still pretty high energy. If this was Biden, or God forbid, Kamala, oh my goodness, it would have been a completely different speech. The whole administration would be different. The country would be in a much worse place. I'm glad that we got Trump back in office. This was amazing. And I look forward to the next 4 years and even beyond that, when you pass the torch, J.D. Vance or whoever it is. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on the State of the Union address that was not quite a State of the Union address, although it was? Was it good? Was it bad? How about the reaction from Elisa Slotkin from Michigan? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. This was a great speech. I really enjoyed it. A lot of heartwarming moments, tear-jerking moments, some funny moments. The Democrats watching them seethe was hilarious. This was overall really, really good. And again, thank y'all who were there watching with me live. It was definitely a great time to have. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.